How many of us would welcome an AI assistant that could take over routine tasks and help us get work done faster? Many of us are excited about what AI can do to simplify our work and improve productivity. Yet, the real challenge lies not in using AI, but in embedding it seamlessly into business processes. Successful AI initiatives require more than powerful models. They depend on trusted data, well-designed processes, and a solid technology foundation that allows AI to operate effectively at enterprise scale. That's what today's topic is so important. As the world's leading provider at business process software, SAP is uniquely positioned to bring together applications, data, and AI to help make intelligent, agent-driven business processes a reality. Welcome, everyone. I am delighted to have you join us for today's session, SAP Business AI Platform, and what it means for SAP BTP and BDC customers. Today, I have the pleasure of having Steffen Schad, KP Sauer, and Dan Kiernan, who, due to bandwidth issues, cannot switch on his camera, joining me. Let me introduce our experts. Steffen has been with SAP's platform program since its start in 2011. In his current role, he leads a team of product managers focused on cross-platform product capabilities, helping customers and partners understand and maximize the value they get from SAP technology. In his more than 20 years with SAP, he has held various positions in engineering and go-to-market for SAP's technology solutions. KP, you might have already seen him in one of my series, is an expert in the SAP product management team focusing on SAP BDC and SAP DataSphere. He joined SAP in 2012 with positions in the global HANA COE and solution management. KP is also author of multiple books about SAP data warehousing solutions. Dan is a seasoned marketing expert focused on articulating the value of SAP technology solutions for over 20 years. He is currently focused on helping SAP customers understand the importance of SAP BTP and, more recently, SAP Business AI Platform. And now let's dive in. Steffen, please take it away.
Sure. Let me know when you can see the presentation.
Coming? Yes.
All right. Then I'll hand it over to Dan immediately to kick it off.
Great. And if you can click to the first slide. We'll start with the disclaimer. You probably have seen this before. The disclaimer is just to quickly announce that a lot of what we say won't be forward thinking. Things can change at any point in time, so don't hold this as fixed. But let's start right into the presentation. So what I'm going to do is cover what was announced at SAPPHIRE this year, which was the autonomous enterprise and the unveiling of the Business AI Platform, just as a refresher, or for those that haven't seen it, for something new. I'll then hand it off to Steffen for what this announcement of the Business AI Platform means for BTP and BTP customers, then on to KP for what this means for BDC. So as some of you who have attended SAPPHIRE or have heard, the SAP Autonomous Enterprise is SAP's strategic vision for the next generation of enterprise software. So this was announced at SAPPHIRE 2026. It describes a future in which AI agents don't just assist users, they continuously reason, coordinate, and execute business processes across the enterprise while operating within enterprise governance. So as you can see from this slide, the autonomous enterprise consists of 3 layers. Let's start with Joule. This is the engagement layer, where people set intent and Joule assistants and agents bring together the right data, workflow, and actions across SAP systems and beyond. So next is the autonomous suite. These are the business applications, as you might know them, and this is the operational core of the business where applications, data, and AI agents automate functions across finance, spend, supply chain, HCM, and CX. And last but not least, and this is what we're here to talk to you more about, is the Business AI Platform. This is the foundation for building, contextualizing, and governing enterprise AI. Next slide. So, as mentioned, the Business AI Platform is the foundation of the autonomous enterprise. It provides the data foundation, semantic context, the developed environment, and governance needed for enterprise-grade agentic AI. It consists of 3 pillars, and that is build, contextualize, and govern, that work together to provide an enterprise-grade AI platform. Next slide. So, a lot of you are familiar with the capabilities of BTP and BDC and BTM. So, this is where we're bringing all the B's together. So, the Business AI Platform brings together the capabilities of SAP BTP, and specifically SAP Build, Joule Studio, SAP Integration Suite, and BTP core capabilities. We're also including SAP Business Data Cloud and SAP Knowledge Graph as part of this, as well as the SAP AI Agent Hub, along with governance and security services. So all these are coming together under one platform that provides a foundation for AI. Next slide. So let's start with the build pillar. The capabilities of the build pillar allow organizations to simplify and accelerate application and AI development with one environment for building, integrating, and running applications, as well as AI scenarios and AI agents and workflows, all along with the governance and business understanding required to operate at scale. There are 2 key solutions that make up the build pillar. One is Joule Studio, which you may have heard of, and this is the next generation of our SAP Build offering. It's SAP's AI-first development environment for building, deploying, and managing custom AI agents, as well as applications and workflows, and is designed to help developers build enterprise AI solutions that are grounded in trusted business data, business processes, and semantic business content. In addition, we have the SAP Integration Suite. This is the trusted enterprise integration layer that connects AI agents, business processes, systems, and applications across SAP as well as non-SAP landscapes, and facilitates secure governance of enterprise AI exposure, along with multi-LLM connectivity and enterprise-wide agent executions. Let's move on to the next pillar. This is contextualize and reason. So in this pillar, we focus on SAP Business Data Cloud. This is SAP's fully managed data platform that unifies SAP and third-party data into a trusted business data foundation for analytics and AI. It combines data integration, data engineering, governance, and semantic business context to help organizations deliver reliable insights, powerful AI applications, and agents, and make faster, more informed business decisions across the enterprise. Along with Business Data Cloud within the contextualized pillar is the SAP Knowledge Graph. This is our semantic layer that provides AI with a rich understanding of enterprise context and helps AI agents and applications deliver more accurate and explainable context-aware insights, as well as recommendations and actions that are grounded in your organization's business semantics. Let's move on to the govern pillar. Next slide. So in this pillar, the capabilities of the govern pillar allow organizations to pursue AI strategies at enterprise scale, and importantly, with the governance that is needed for trusted and meaningful AI scenarios that enterprise organizations need and trust. This means every agent, application, LLM, or MCP server operates within the boundaries that your business defines from the moment it goes live, and that every AI initiative is continuously measured against those outcomes it was deployed to deliver. Let's go to the last of the capabilities within Business AI Platform, and these are core platform capabilities. So although this isn't a distinct pillar, it's important not to not talk about the core platform capabilities of the Business AI platform, because these provide the control layer that provides everything from app lifecycle management to secure access, system integration, and operational oversight. So these core capabilities are built into the platform to help improve efficiency and automate compliance, or regain control over sprawling environments, and finally, gain visibility into what's really happening. And they are delivered across 4 core capability areas: application lifecycle management, security, interoperability, and administration and operations. So there's a review of the Business AI platform, the key pillars and the core capabilities that consist within. So in talking with a lot of organizations and customers after SAPPHIRE, questions started coming up as to, so what does this really mean for my investment in BTP and BDC? Does this change our direction? Is there things I should be aware of as we look to see the future of the Business AI platform? And this is where I'll now turn things over to first Stefan to answer those questions for BTP, and then KP to answer those questions for BDC. Over to you, Stefan.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. And good morning, good evening, everybody, also from my side. Hello from Waldorf, if you will. So, Dan explained what the Business AI platform that we announced at SAPPHIRE is. And same as with Dan, I've had many customers approach me and ask, hey, can you explain to me what this now, means concretely? Is this just a rebranding of the BTP? And we all know, or longtime customers know, we had our share of rebrandings in the past. Is this a new technology platform being introduced that sits next to BTP, or what is it, right? So I'll try to shed a little bit more light on what that really means from a product perspective and then from a technology perspective. So definitely part of all of this is that we combine all of our technology under a single brand, if you will. So part of it is definitely a branding exercise, but it's not just that. And that is very important to understand for all of our customers and partners. It is our technology portfolio coming really together, also integrating better and more together, let's say, and also enabling new use cases, right? That's what we're here for, in particular in the agentic world. We're bringing together the BTP services, the BDC services, the BTM services, and creating new things to enable new agentic scenarios at our customers. So you just saw the little frame here blink around the build pillar of the BAIP, right? So all of the services that you know and have known from BTP in terms of developing and integrating applications, workflows, all of these things, they are now part of Business AI platform, right? So highlighted here on this slide is Joule Studio, let's say, as our key solution to build agents moving forward, and then also expanding to application development and workflow development. You also see the integration suite, which is and has been our flagship solution for integration on this slide, but also all the things that you don't see on this slide. Dan mentioned SAP Build, right? So our application development portfolio so far with SAP Build Process Automation for workflow, or SAP Build Workzone for business sites, and all of these things are also part of Business AI platform. So we keep offering SAP Build in particular and all of these things in parallel. The new thing coming in with Joule Studio will be SAP Managed. So we try to let's say, relieve our customers and partners as much as we can from the maintenance of runtimes and all of these things in between. So we try to take more and more of these tasks on SAP side. So we call it an SAP managed portfolio, but we also keep as an alternative at the same time the portfolio that the customer managed services of BTP. We keep and provide these in parallel, and we're also going to have integration between customer managed and SAP managed pieces here in the build pillar, right? There, initially you can think of, for instance, integrating between the workflow engines on Joule Studio and on SAP Build and all of these things, right? For Integration Suite, there's no change at all. Integration Suite is and remains our flagship solution for integration, and we'll expand it with new capabilities to also support agent-to-agent integration and all of these things. So we're going very strongly with Business AI platform into the agentic world here. So all the BTP solutions for app dev, integration, etc., are part of the Business AI platform. Then there's the right-hand side of the slide, the govern part. Obviously, all the BTP services that you know and that you have been using to operate the applications and workflows that you have been building on BTP, they're also part of Business AI Platform moving forward. For instance, our runtimes, right? Mentioned here, again, a new offering on this slide, the Joule Studio runtime, which is the SAP managed runtime where the things that you develop on Joule Studio will be deployed on. But we also keep and continue to offer our Cloud Foundry and Kyma runtime. So the Kubernetes-based Kyma runtime that have been part of BTP, it's also will stay and will be an offering that customers can choose to use with the scenarios that you have been using so far. Also, from an operations perspective, we continue to provide and invest in the core platform capabilities that Dan also mentioned. To give you an example, FinOps, financial operations. So we've been investing a lot over the past 2 years for BTP in helping our customers keep track, manage, plan proactively their cost and their usage of BTP. And obviously, if we now introduce new solutions on Business AI Platform with Joule Studio Runtime, there will be exactly the same questions or challenges or tasks for customers and administrators of our customers to do the same then for these new offerings. So we're investing here as well. When it comes to compliance, audit logging, all of these things that you know from BTP where we have ready-made services, they also will continue to be available as part of Business AI Platform. Identity, access, and security is on the slide. So, I assume many of you or most of you will be using the SAP Cloud Identity Services. So those will be a central and continue to be a central part when it comes to authentication and authorization, both for users, but in the future then also for agents moving forward, security capabilities. So all of these things are going to be part of Business AI Platform. And last but not least, that's why the big frame is coming up here as well. I hope you saw the animation on the stream. All of these services that we are offering, have been offering, and will be offering, they also build and run on our runtimes, for instance. So the BTP really is an integral part of the Business AI Platform. So if I switch just very briefly, I'm coming from product, but also very briefly, I need to maybe comment on the licensing and commercial perspective. That's also something very important for me to highlight. When we introduce now the new capabilities that I talked about, Joule Studio Runtime, namely, those are planned and will be available under existing license constructs. So this is not something that we bring to our customers and then ask them to sign some type of new license in here, but those will be available as part of our pay-as-you-go BTPA and CPA license constructs that pretty much all of our customers have right now. So the summary would be that we're consolidating our technology offerings under a unified brand. Also from a go-to-market perspective, you're going to hear more and more about, or exclusively more or less when we talk about our technology, about Business AI Platform and no longer about BTP. But from a product perspective, BTP services and components are part of BAI Platform. There's no change in how to operate them. There's no change in how to license them. And also moving forward, we're going to provide a smooth way for our customers to consume the new offerings, right? So for customers, it doesn't mean that we have a disruption on existing scenarios in any way of form. Quite the opposite. We will be providing or enabling new scenarios, in particular on agent development and agent operations on this combined platform. Right? That's something that's also important to say for the administrators and operators which may have dialed in, right? So as I mentioned, for the new offerings, Joule Studio Runtime, we've chosen to go for an SAP managed approach, right? So this is a little bit different from asking you to manage all your environments completely yourselves on BTP, which we call the customer managed approach. So there will be, let's say, new operations aspects moving forward, in particular for customers who select to consume both SAP managed and customer managed in the future. So there will be new operational tasks, let's say, but the ones that the ways on how to operate BTP as of today, that won't go away, right? So that is just from a very high level perspective, my view on what the introduction of Business AI Platform means for BTP customers. And let me maybe back that up with a little bit of a dive into our product roadmap. And now I'm looking at specifically the portfolio that you have known from BTP in the past. So first, on our portfolio to build agents and applications, right? So obviously, you noticed that in my talk track, you noticed that in Dan's talk track as well. The priority for us for the remainder of 2026 right now is to, let's say, bring Joule Studio into general availability. We've announced it at SAPPHIRE. Right now, we're in early adopter care, as we call it. So we have first customers moving on Joule Studio and using it productively. We plan for a general availability by end of the year. What that means is we're focusing on making Joule Studio an offering, number one, that can help with what we call the intent-based development. So with the means of AI, you will be able, or you are able with Joule Studio to create agents, then also workflows and applications by defining the intent of what you want to build, right, in plain language, right? So AI-supported development, which pretty much everybody already does these days, right? What we do with Joule Studio, we also make sure that it's not just code generation, let's say, based on a plain language description, but by being able to hook into your SAP environments, by being able to provide additional SAP context and knowledge on, in particular, how our systems are being run, what the data structures are, et cetera, we're able to make that kind of development then from intent to creating a spec to then creating the artifacts and the agents and running them in a very efficient and then hopefully also effective fashion then for our customers to create the agents in their environment. So that is the one key focus. As part of Joule Studio, we're also integrating now N8N as a fully managed environment for AI workflows and agent orchestration, as it says here. So we will have a N8N, if you will, embedded in Joule Studio. We're also working together with Vercel so that you cannot only generate applications that use SAP UI frameworks, but you can also use non-SAP frameworks, if you will. And we're going to integrate that and bring that out of the box with a fully integrated SAP managed runtime, which we call Joule Studio Runtime. That is the key focus for us on the roadmap for 2026. As I said, currently in EAC, planned for general availability towards end of the year. So Q4 this year is when we plan to go GA. On the integration side, so as part of Integration Suite, also not a big surprise here, we're also fully focusing on enabling agentic development and bringing generative AI capabilities into Integration Suite and making Integration Suite an offering where you can manage your agent-to-agent integrations as well. So that starts, for instance, with bringing Joule, our SAP assistant, into Integration Suite so that you can then generate artifacts, integration artifacts on Integration Suite using natural language. That's going to be a first step. We intend to make that available in the second half of this year. We also are releasing capabilities as similar to our API management capabilities to manage and govern the use of MCP servers. So both exposing APIs as MCP servers so that, again, agents can consume them in their scenarios, but then also managing the access, throttling all of these things then for these MCP servers. That's going to be a new capability part of Integration Suite to be released in Q3, Q4. We also, for customers who have been with us on integration technology already for a long time, so customers who are still using PI, PO, or on-premise solution for integration, we are about to release what we call a migration agent that will help you then bring your PI, PO integrations, modernize them, and move them to Integration Suite with us to the cloud. That's something that we have also on our roadmap for Q3, if I'm not mistaken. And then last but not least, and that's something that we have continuously on the roadmap every quarter, if you will, we're continuing to enhance our third-party connectivity with new adapters coming pretty much every quarter moving forward. So as you can see here as well, for Integration Suite, a lot of our investment currently goes into supporting the agentic world, if you will, so helping our customers then integrate, manage, govern their agentic scenarios in addition to the integration scenarios that we have been supporting all the time anyhow already. So on the operations side, here are 3 things that I would like to highlight, and you also can see that this goes in pretty much in the same direction, right? Helping our customers then implement and use a Business AI platform in the agentic world. 3 things that I at least partially already mentioned. Number 1, identity, authentication, authorization. We're expanding our cloud identity services to not only manage authentication, authorization for, let's say, human entities, for users, but then also establishing ways to manage authentication, authorization, and also for agents, which is very important to keep your agentic scenarios under control in your environment. I mentioned in the beginning already investments in FinOps, right? Same questions as with the customer managed BTP services you're going to have with BAIP services as well. So we want to provide you with all the means that you need in order to control, govern, forecast your cost and your usage of Business AI platform. And then something that I didn't mention so far, but that's also super important and has been, let's say, growing in customer demand over the past years due to various reasons, is that we also want to help our customers or satisfy our customers' needs and requirements when it comes to data sovereignty and local deployments, let's say. So number 1, those of you who know BTP, obviously we have been providing BTP on the infrastructures of our partners, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and also Ali Cloud in the past. We've also added SAP infrastructure last year, so running BTP in the public cloud on SAP infrastructures. But what we've seen more and more, next to expanding that offering, is that we also need to expand our sovereign cloud offerings. So we did have BTP services on sovereign cloud already in the US, in Australia, in the UK. As of earlier this quarter, as of beginning of July, we now also have a BTP sovereign cloud presence in Germany on SAP data centers. And we're working also hard to build out the sovereign deployments of BTP again, to be where our customer need us to be in the end, if you will. So much for the roadmap. If I try to again hammer down the points of what the title of this session is and what I wanted to make sure that everybody who's dialing in here can take away is, number 1, for BTP customers and partners, BTP is now brand of Business AI platform. This is not just a rebranding, right? So obviously when it comes to the brand, we're part of BAIP now here as well. But even more importantly, we're bringing our technology portfolio together to enable new scenarios, in particular, building and running your own agents in your landscapes. That's the key focus for us. For practitioners, for people who run BTP every day, day to day, there's no immediate change in any way or form, right? Your services continue to run, continue to be invested in, continue to expand, all of these things. There is no change in how you operate BTP. There is new solutions coming out with Joule Studio and the Joule Studio Runtime, which will be SAP managed. Those will bring also new operations concepts. So for the operations people at our side, at our customers and our partners, we will then have new operational aspects that we will then also roll out and explain how all of this is being done. But for now, there's pretty much no change at all for BTP customers and partners. The focus for 2026, as I said, fully on agentic AI, and you're going to see more and more of our announcements, and then also you will be able to touch and feel all of these things when we approach TechEd. So let me also do a quick TechEd plug in here, right? TechEd end of October is when we're going to have then, hopefully then the GA already by then by Joule Studio, and when you'll be able to touch on all of these things which I just highlighted on the roadmap. So that's the BTP world. So let me now hand it over to Klaus-Peter, who will shed some more light on what this means for BDC and our data and analytics portfolio. KP, take it away.
Thank you so much, Stefan. So let me also share it from my screen so you can focus on the questions who have already come in, and then take it over here. Just give me a signal if you can see it.
It's on.
Perfect. Good. So we heard from Stefan a lot what it means for BTP with the BAIP announcements. And so same question on the BDC side. What does it mean for BDC? And of course, BDC covers the data and analytics portfolio at SAP. So if you followed us for many, many years, starting with SAP Analytics Cloud and almost 7 years now with Data Warehouse Cloud becoming our data fabric with DataSphere, and the big announcement last year with Business Data Cloud, right? So you will see, or already saw on Stefan's picture here, that BDC is really at the heart and center of our Business AI platform, right? So it's really a central component, providing the data and analytics capabilities together with our knowledge graph to provide the best grounding and data basis for our Joule and AI activities on top, right? So this is really something important. It's a logical next step, if you will, right? So we started with individual solutions, brought everything last year together under the umbrella of Business Data Cloud, and now it's even embedded in a bigger picture around the Business AI platform. On the one hand side, to make sure that we closely align and integrate with all the different solutions, which Stefan also explained here, but also from a commercial aspect, right? So that will also happen at some point, that all of this comes closer together into one big offering from our side. So if we look now a little into the past, it's 1 year of Business Data Cloud. So we launched it in February last year with a general availability happening around SAPPHIRE timeframe last year. The big partner announcement at that time was, of course, our partnership with Databricks, where we immediately delivered also the SAP Databricks solution with it. We also addressed directly also our BW community with our modernization approaches, and directly brought out last year in May the Data Product Generator as one of the migration tooling to help modernize BW landscapes, bring them into a BDC setup, and get them on a modernization path. What just happened last month is that we brought another tooling in that area, right? So the so-called Query Template Generator was released in June, which now complements the Data Product Generator. So Data Product Generator provides the data as a basis in form of data products from BW, info objects, info cubes, or data store objects, or any kind of info provider in there. The Query Template Generator brings now the consumption end to it, right? So the BW query part is now available also to be transferred to a BDC and DataSphere setup here. So very nice complement here. And of course, AI, Stefan mentioned it, is one of the core focus areas in all solutions of at SAP, right? So we brought a lot of assistance capabilities in different areas of BDC. You will see second half of this year a lot of more agentic support for BDC in all different areas. I will talk about that in my roadmap slide a little bit further. Also looking at the content side, so we brought different intelligent packages out there, covering at the moment a little more than 300 data products. Also there in that area, we want to expand further in the second half of this year, planning around 400 or 500 data products with a lot more different packages on top of it from different solution areas, not just ERP, SuccessFactors, but also others in that area. Of course, expanding also our partnerships, right? So around SAPPHIRE, I'm not sure if everyone saw that. We had general availability of our Snowflake solution extension as part of Business Data Cloud, as well as offering additional BDC Connect partner solutions here, where we have Databricks, Snowflake, and Google already live and generally available. Microsoft and AWS are on our plan for the second half of this year to be delivered. So by the end of the year, all of these 5 should be potential targets for our BDC Connect interface. One question which usually comes up in this context is, when should I use what kind of path, right? When should I use SAP Databricks or SAP Snowflake versus BDC Connect, etc.? So I think the distinction is quite clear. If you have no Databricks or no Snowflake in-house yet, so it would be a greenfield approach anyway, and you don't want to have another contract on top of your already existing SAP contract, then the SAP Databricks or SAP Snowflake solution could be a great offering for these greenfield kind of approaches for certain projects you might have. But if you already have one or multiple of these solutions, like a Databricks, Snowflake, or Google already up and running in production, right? So the typical brownfield scenario, then I would definitely recommend leveraging BDC Connect here as an interface. So you don't need double maintenance on different setups here. And you can leverage the serial corporate delta share method here to access data products or share bidirectionally data products from or to these systems with BDC. The small box here on the bottom, data centers. So Stefan mentioned it around sovereignty, right? So we started very small last year in May with 2 data centers, only having AWS in Europe and in the US. In the meantime, this grew to 28. So that is a huge achievement for our data center team, right? Everyone who knows onboarding data centers, they are not all equal. There are so many differences, and onboarding 26 within 1 year, that's a major achievement. And it's equally distributed amongst the big hyperscalers. So I think it's 10, 9, 9 across AWS, Microsoft, as well as Google. And we plan more in the second half, specifically also data centers around sovereignty, so that we can offer that not only for the BTP part of BAIP, but also for BDC. Looking briefly at DataSphere, we also had a huge number of releases and features coming in first half this year. This is just a short list on my highlights, right? I don't want to go through all of it, but certain things like stacking and sharing of analytic models, being able to reuse HANA Cloud calculation views and bring them into DataSphere via the so-called semantic onboarding functionality, data pipeline analyzer, and a lot more features have been delivered. And we're on a good roll here. We're delivering pretty much every 2 weeks new features, enhancing existing features, and that's still going strong, not stopping anywhere near. So we have a good roadmap ahead also for these individual solutions like DataSphere. So looking at it back in the context of Business Data Cloud with in BAIP, what's important to mention now, at SAPPHIRE, 2 additional offerings came into the picture, right? So you see the ones with the blue border here, the boxes. So on the one hand side, HANA Cloud comes into the picture. It was there for persistency underneath DataSphere and Analytics Cloud all the way anyway, but now also as a separate offering as part of BDC. So basically it means you can spin up your own HANA Cloud instance as part of your overall BDC setup, right? And it's not completely separate like it was before. Similar for master data governance. This is now also available as part of the overall commercial offering and also can be set up as part of an overall BDC instance. The Reltio part, you see it's a dotted line around it. That means The acquisition is already completed, and now we're working together with the Reltio team to define how we can bring those capabilities the Reltio team brings to the table also into the overall offering. On the one hand side, commercially, of course, but of course, technically, it's probably more interesting for the audience here how we want to provide that. And I have an overview slide already prepared here because these questions also regularly come up. And the curiosity is, of course, understandable out there how this will play together. And I know it's a busy slide. Let's maybe start with master data governance here on the left-hand side, which has been around for many, many years and a very important component complementing really our ERP solution with master data governance processes and enabling here well-governed master data for the SAP-owned objects. This will play the role in this SAP space also going forward. So it's not going away or being replaced by Reltio. I have seen comments on different platforms in the past, but this is not going to happen. It will stay there. It will play an important role specifically in the SAP solution context here. Where Reltio comes in is specifically in the area when we look about data coming from non-SAP applications, right? Or providing master data back to other applications outside of the SAP portfolio, but in the future, of course, also within the SAP portfolio. We want to embed it in the whole data product setup, right? So you see different data products being mentioned here, unified data products, which provide the consumption layer towards the consuming applications on top of it, but also on the bottom here with primary and derived data products, providing data from the different source solutions into BDC. So you will see that being placed in various areas, but this is the current plan. So just to get an idea. BDC Connect, of course, is still a valid point here to connect to our partner solutions. All right. Also similar to Stefan, let's look a little bit forward, what we plan on delivering for the remainder of this year and where our focus areas are. And I mentioned some of it already. So data products and intelligent content, I mentioned it. We want to go beyond what we already delivered so far into different areas now also like supply chain spend, consumer products, retail, etc. On top of that, we also want to provide more capabilities for the application foundation through, on the one hand side, composable BI components, on the other side, with the Data Product Studio, where we will deliver a component which enables you to define data products on your own, following the same principles which we embedded already in the data products as part of the intelligent content, what we deliver from an SAP managed perspective. AI, of course, at the center here, focusing on different areas, now powering the knowledge graph also to support search and discovery of data products, and several agentic use cases, which we plan specifically for more the consuming applications of data, which is on the one hand side, Analytics Cloud with insights generation and analytics narrative agents. Also model creation agents for analytics, but also for the planning component of Analytics Cloud, as well as a planning agent itself. You see the rough quarterly assignments here. On top of that, since I talked about the Data Product Studio briefly, right, we also directly want to bring a creation agent capability in here as well by the end of the year, so that you don't always have to go through the editor, but you also can use Joule and the respective agents to be able to create with an agent-driven approach data products. Partner ecosystem, I mentioned Microsoft Fabric and Athena already for the second half of this year, similar to master data management. There specifically on the MDG part, we want to bring a data validation, data quality evaluation capability for data products, And on the reshapes side, maybe we can sneak in capability already this year, but this is probably more likely to come next year, once we have finalized the details on where we want to bring it in and what the priorities are there. On the BW modernization part, an interesting component which we plan really for end of the year, the so-called BW migration assistant, really planned for December this year, where we currently have the data product generator, which generates the data as a basis for different models, query template generator, providing pretty much the other end. So the consumption side of it and the metadata to that. The migration assistant directly plugs in the middle. That will provide a capability to bring over data flows, which you currently have in your BW setup, and move them or migrate them to a DataSphere / BDC setup. So very interesting one. Then, of course, the Data Product Studio will get enhanced with the capabilities to leverage also BW as a source with its entities in the studio itself. And last but not least, data centers, already mentioned that part. The BDC cockpit has a focus on observability and monitoring. We want to definitely enhance that to provide more capabilities there. And on top of that, we also want to support DPP, so for sensitive data handling in data products specifically, we are planning features there. Okay, so with that being said, I think I can get it back to you, Tanya, and maybe at the same time have a look at the questions which already came in on the chat.
Yes, definitely. But first of all, let me express heartfelt thank you to all of you three for this excellent presentation. I think it was really valuable to provide, insights into the SAP Business AI Platform, its latest and upcoming innovations for our customers, and in general, the strategic direction overall that SAP is heading to. So let me get to the first question. The question is, contextualized semantics. Does that relate to tags or repeatedly used terms in the description of, for example, context with BDC Databricks? So in the direction of Unity catalog-based descriptions. KP, I think that one is yours.
Let me just find
in the beginning, pretty much in the beginning. Yeah, the second question actually, as the first question has already been answered by both Dan and Stefan.
So that contextualized semantics, that's mainly driven by two components of BDC. On the one hand side, DataSphere, which provides semantically rich models, and on the other hand side, since you're talking about the Unity catalog, this also flows, of course, then into our catalog at BDC, which is the connectivity to the catalogs of these partner solutions, like the Unity catalog with Databricks or the catalogs from the other partners like Google, Snowflake, and the likes, right? So this is really where it comes together. That's also where you share at the end data products from or to these kind of solutions, right? So this is where this comes together.
Thank you, KP. The next question is right afterwards. Is Knowledge Graph a product like DataSphere or cloud integration, or is it something else?
Yeah, I can take it as well. Maybe Stefan, if you want to add to it, feel free. So as far as I know, we don't have any plans to have the Knowledge Graph built out as a separate, more or less kind of standalone product, which DataSphere or cloud integration are positioned at the moment. We use this technology in the backend heavily to provide grounding and the basis for our AI capabilities in all different areas of our SAP solutions, right? So we have on the one hand side the persistency of that knowledge graph data with the triple store functionality in HANA Cloud. On the other side, we use ontologies, right, to make that visual and tangible somehow. But at the moment, the knowledge graph technology which we use is not a product which could be used generically for any use case. We use it very specifically in BDC, at least, for our own descriptions on the data and the metadata, and to be able to provide the best grounding capabilities for our AI activities on top.
And if I may add to that, right, if you look at it from an application or agent development perspective, the SAP knowledge graph is really SAP's knowledge as a knowledge graph that we use internally. Let's say it's our, you could call it our secret sauce, if you will, right? So that we know based on the intent of a developer, when you say, hey, I want to develop an agent that, follows up on my open payments or stuff like that, that based on that description, we then can understand and know best, what systems are going to be touched and which business process is going to be affected. So all the SAP knowledge, the process knowledge, the business process knowledge is then from an SAP side included here and then being used in agent development, right? So that is not a standalone product that you can use generically, but it is heavily used by the SAP offerings like Joule Studio. In particular, Joule Studio is banking very heavily on the knowledge graph on the one hand side for SAP context, but then also on landscape information that we have if you are a customer of ours, so that we can bring then really the system, the landscape, and the process context into application and agent development, right? So that is different from the knowledge graph engine, which again is a generic technology that enables all of this and which is part of HANA Cloud.
Thank you so much. The next question is it conceivable that in the near future there will also be a model based on AI platforms, so to say AIOS, that is particularly integrated MCP directly on the local or cloud workspace?
I have to admit that I don't fully get the question, so I cannot respond to that. But I'm, happy to also follow up then on that later on. Or if there's a way to reframe the question, then I can give it my best.
Thank you. Then the next question is, what about integration of AI solutions with external tools for A2A, e.g. Databricks? That is super important.
So if I can say from the former BTP portfolio, let's say agent to agent, or in general supporting the A2A protocol and then integrating also non-SAP technology, that's what integration suite is for, and that's what we're building out 100%, right? And if the question is now more directly towards Databricks, I'd lean on KP to comment on that from the data and analytics side.
Yes, similar there, right? So agent to agent is definitely on the radar. Right, so that's something which we have in mind with the agents which we are developing around the data and analytics portfolio for sure. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. Next one, I think, KP, that's yours. Will BDC provisioning operations be shifted to BTP, BAIP eventually if BDC is also intended to be part of it, or will it stay in SAP for me?
It will stay in SAP for me, right? So that's the current setup, which at least as far as I know is not changing anytime soon. Not sure if on the BTP side there will be changes with the new setup now. I think that will stay as it is.
Yeah, and as maybe let me add to that, right? As I said, in particular, going SAP managed on the development and then also on the runtime will introduce, let's say, new operations concepts on the application development and the operation side in general, right? And then therefore the SAP managed environments, the enablement, the provisioning, etc., that will be triggered through SAP for me.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Then there's another question on the knowledge graph, but I think that maybe what you already, both of you answered, might answer that question. It's also, I provided a link to a webinar that we held on knowledge graph that might help you provide more information. The next question, will support of other IDEs, e.g. Code, VS Code, GitHub Copilot, be provided or in the integration suite and not Joule? At the moment, integration suite is ClickUps only.
Okay, so we're not fundamentally changing the UIs and the ways on how to define integrations and all of these things, right? At this point in time, we're adding the capability through Joule to ease all of that, right? In addition to the current means here, I'll need to go and check with the development team if further out than we publish our roadmap. We have something on the roadmap, but there's nothing, with that kind of change that I am aware of, right? So, but then again, feel free to also check the published integration suite roadmap on Roadmap Explorer, because I don't have the details of each and every item that we have there.
Thank you very much. Then there's another one, KP, and maybe you have already answered that one, which, because it came basically when you had the slide open, which objects of MDG are included within BDC? Does it mean that this is more of relative specific?
Yeah, as I mentioned, MDG covers the SAP domains, right, from ERP there. And this is also covered or becomes part of the data product creation and maintenance process within BDC. Reltio will cover the non-SAP areas for sure, right? So this is not covering the same areas from both solution perspectives. This is really complementary from that end.
Thank you. There are one or two other questions that they go too deep for today's session. I think we can also take them offline. There are two comments that perhaps, addition information. Always nice to see some movement in the products, but I would appreciate if changes also arrive at the customer base in less than 6 months, not years. And the other is, I love to hear that sovereignty is coming to BDC too, on top of AWS. So, is there, yeah, the other ones, I think maybe this one, what about the seamless planning integration roadmap? How is it going? That might also go too deep.
I can mention one area which I briefly touched on the roadmap slide I had is definitely where we're heading is towards agentic support for planning, and specifically also then seamless planning, of course, right? So this is planned and not in a year from now. This is really for the second half of this year, where we plan on having these agents ready before the year turns.
Perfect, thank you. There's one other question, maybe that is the clarification of the one, Stefan, you asked for clarification. It's from the same person. What will be the role in the future of the new AIOS local environment with SAP BTP BDC environment?
So I have to admit the AIOS local environment doesn't ring a bell for me, so I cannot respond to that. I appreciate it. I'm sorry for that.
Neither for me.
No problem. I thought it was getting too deep for today's session. Are we going to use BDC extensibility in coming future? KP, that's for you.
I mean, I cannot tell you if you're going to use it when we deliver an extensibility on the data products concept. That's on you to decide if you want to leverage that. But for sure, we're working on an extensibility concept on the data products, specifically the SAP managed data products, right? So maybe one topic which is probably not so well known because people often compare data products to the business content, which we had in data and analytics almost for decades, which was pretty static. When you create a data product today based on structures in S4HANA, it will also take your extended fields, so your appends already with it, right? So it's already kind of customized. Of course, if you have modifications in the source in your S4 or other processes built around it, that's probably not going to go with it directly. And that's probably where these extensions then will come in handy on the analytics part with BDC.
Thank you. And we are basically also already on top of the hour. I think we have answered all the questions. Again, a big thank you to Steffen, Dan, and KP for your excellent presentation, providing this walkthrough and updates on what's coming. But before we wrap up, of course, I'd like to thank everyone for joining today. We will take a break in August and we'll return on September 15 with a SAP Runs SAP session on boosting support and cloud operations with agentified end-to-end workflows. On September 17, there will be a BTP core capability session. So wherever you are in the world, we wish you a wonderful and refreshing month ahead. And we will look forward to connecting with you in September. Thank you for being with us and see you soon. Bye-bye.